You know what I just realized? I didn't do the countdown thing again because we're just on the screen and I forgot to switch it. So here we are. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fade to us.
Fading in.
Hello, happy Thursday.
Good morning.
This has felt like a long week for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we've almost made it to the end. Tomorrow's Friday.
Hmm.
Finally.
Almost there. There's a Disney song for everything, if you want it to be. But basically, yesterday there was a shareholders call.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they usually on a Tuesday?
I don't know.
This time it was a Wednesday. But Josh Damaro said, first day as CEO, I would like to have some good things to share.
Mm-hmm.
And he did.
He
But
did.
what I always say when they make these big announcements is, what are they going to say at D23 Expo? Because D23 Expo is where they have like a movie section and they announce a lot of stuff about movies, or they have a park
Mm-hmm.
section and announce a lot of stuff about parks and gaming and all that. And then they keep making these big announcements. I'm like, do they have something bigger up their sleeve, or are they telling us all now?
I really think they'll have something bigger. And I agree they did have some big announcements, but there's a lot of stuff missing. So I think they gave us just enough to keep shareholders happy. And they'll give us the really big things hopefully later this year.
I also am assuming Josh wanted to start off on a positive note. Like, all right, day
Mhm.
one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Let's give him a little teaser. We're gonna focus on lots of positive stuff. Yeah. So
mhm.
we did get a few bits of information out of it.
We did. We did. And that's good. I like it when the good news comes out. So today we're going to talk about some of the announcements from yesterday. And then
Mhm.
if there are any comments or questions, then we will get to those at the end. Where should we start?
Um, you want to start with just how he kicked this whole thing off with his he had like a taped kind of presentation thing. Of course, starting off by thanking Iger. It was pre-recorded, standing in front of the old animation building on the Disney lot. So definitely setting a stage there. Um,
I have on my Walt Disney Studio shirt today.
how appropriate.
You can't see it, but that's what it says.
I think Iger just wore a suit though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he had his T-shirt on. Did mention that Iger will remain a senior advisor and board member until his full retirement, which is on December 31st. So he'll be around at least on a plaque, probably that has all those people's names on it for a little bit.
You remember when Chapek was appointed and then Iger was still there, and then it felt like confusing dynamics?
Yes. Yeah, it's like I was picturing two desks in one big office
Mm-hmm.
kind of situation with maybe tape down the middle of it. Be like,
Mm-hmm.
you stay on your side, I'll stay on mine.
You think this time Iger's like, no, him.
Yeah, I think Iger is probably ready to tap out now. He's done. He's done. He of course it would not be a Disney thing if we didn't pull on the heartstrings, and he had to reference the fact that his Disney origin story, if you will, that he grew up watching The Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights, like lots of us, and that he first visited Disneyland at the age of 10, and that was kind of where the bug bit him. So he definitely kicked it off in true Disney style.
Yeah, he's good at that. I think it's exciting that he is motivational. Like
Yes.
he does really get you excited about things.
Yes, agreed, agreed. He went on to talk about how Disney is in a category all by itself, that there's really not other companies that compare to what they do because of their it's like a multi-generational thing, which we've talked about before, the emotional connection, which is
Hmm.
always such a strong thing for us and other people, and that how I hate the word synergy, and I don't know that he used it, but it's that idea that all of their components work together, that the parks feed into the streaming, which feeds into the movies, and it's like this giant circle of life, if you will.
But why do you hate the word synergy?
I don't know because I
That's the
think it's
most,
so overused, cliche.
oh, it's like a buzzword.
Yes, it is such a buzzword. So
Okay.
it's not like moist. It's not. I don't hate it for that
Mm,
reason. I just hate it because it's a buzzword.
okay.
Um, and that nobody else really has the ability to do it at the scale that Disney does, and
Hmm.
do it at a scale not just here in the US but globally. So I agree that Disney is uniquely poised
Hmm.
compared to other companies.
Anybody who watched the Oscars saw the synergy in action.
Yes.
Let's promote our cruise lines, parks, movies.
Uh-huh. Everything all at once.
But listen, Walt did that too.
Yeah, oh yes. And that's why I think it worked is because you build
Hmm.
on that emotional context, you get people attached, and then you just use each thing to build on each other.
Hmm.
So
Even if that thing is Wheel of Fortune.
even if that thing is Wheel of Fortune, where you give away your trips to Disney World and you have Disney themed ones, yeah, most definitely. Um, that kind of led into the discussion on park pricing, which is something near and dear to our hearts and something, again, we've talked about a lot recently, and just the cost of trips.
Hmm.
He said that guest experience ratings, which is what they use primarily to gauge how their park pricing is, are both very high. Their experience ratings and the intent to return are both very high.
It's the intent to return that I worry about a lot.
Yes, yes. Um, it feels like people used to be, they go once and they get hooked
Hmm.
because it was an attainable thing.
Hmm.
It feels less attainable, or at least the years between trips feels like those have increased.
Yeah. I that is the thing because I feel like you and I got hooked because there was
Mhm.
certain elements that contributed to that. And now I'm like, I don't know if new people are going to feel the same way. I do want to throw out though, I hate devil's advocate, but I have to in this case because it's economics. If the parks are full, busy, sold out, what is a company that has shareholders supposed to do about price? And I don't want to pay the price,
Yeah.
but I don't know that they have another option in terms of the
Mhm.
rates that they charge. I don't like that it's nickel and dimed. Like I
Yes.
would love it if it wasn't so piecemeal. Let me pay for $1,000 here, 1,000 here, whatever. But if the parks are busy, they're not going to lower the price.
No, they're not. And he did point out that they have added, promotions. There's the kids eat free. Disneyland has a special kids summer ticket. So that they're trying to find a variety of ways to get any family that wants to go there, different seasons.
Hmm.
So he did touch on that, and also did touch on the fact that um, how busy the parks are also impacts guest satisfaction. So finding the balance between having the parks at a capacity that isn't so full that people feel miserable inside of
Hmm.
there and they're not able to accomplish the things and feel like they're getting the value for their dollar that they're spending.
Hmm.
S- Um, so then we kind of had some announcements that he revealed, which are kind of some fun things. Um, first being that they gave a name to the new cruise ship. Honestly, forgot that we had more ships coming.
Hmm. And also, I think if we had remembered and we had taken bets, we might have won a
Oh, on
bet.
the
We
name.
might have guessed.
Yes. So the ship will be named Believe.
Hmm.
And lots of IP was tossed around with this ship. Encanto, Frozen, Snow White, Moana, and The Little Mermaid were all of the kind of IPs that were mentioned. Sister ships being the Wish, the Treasure, and the Destiny. And this one will be available for sailings starting in, I think it was 2027. Yeah, set sail in 2027. So it's the fourth Wish class ship. So
Yay.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but that's next year.
I don't love the Wish class of ships. I wish they would do something different because all the new ones that are shiny and pretty are the same
Hmm.
layout. And so, well, except for the Adventure, which is his own thing. But like, it would be nice to have a different ship now
Ship, yes. And
because
there will,
there's
go
already
ahead.
three. There's already three.
There's already three. Yeah. So the total fleet will just continue to expand, and another Wish class ship planned for 2029, which feels very soon as well. Also, I think it speaks to Disney's idea that they are going to be able to fill all those ships.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, as a cruise line, they're small, but the
Mhm.
amount that they charge is a premium.
It is a huge premium.
So they can't be like Carnival, which is more accessible and has more ships. It's not the
Yeah,
same setup.
yeah, not at all. Some of the other things that he spoke about was, of course, the new park that they're building in Abu Dhabi. Uh, so it'll be the first park in over a decade. He's, of course, been over there visiting it. I'll be curious to see how that all goes down. I do expect that that park is going to have, because it's a partnership, it's not like an exclusive
Hmm.
Disney thing, that opens up the opportunities for them to really build all the pie in the sky kind of things that we won't ever get in our domestic parks because they don't have the money for it, or they aren't choosing to put their money into those things. So I will be curious to see the kinds of attractions that will come there and how many of them are going to be new versus just rehashing things that we might see over in the Asia parks, for example.
Yeah, the Asian parks are all the ones that have the partnerships and most likely to be really, really good. But
Really,
they're
really,
in
really.
partnership with Imagineering, so we know that it's possible.
Yes, it's just that whole money thing that isn't
Hmm.
there. Sadly, he also referenced the fact that Villains Land is coming to Magic Kingdom. The Avengers Campus at Disney California Adventure is expanding. World of Frozen is opening later this month in Paris, in Disneyland Paris, which is going to nearly double the size over there of that park. And it's the largest capital investment plan in Disney Experiences history.
The Disney California Adventure expansion.
No, just in general, all these things that they're doing right now,
Oh, I was gonna say, wow,
packaged together.
that's bigger than Abu Dhabi. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, I got all together. Okay, so they're putting a lot of effort and resources into
Yeah,
experiences.
into all of the Disney Experiences stuff. I wonder what percentage it is for each thing, though. Like, what percentage of that are the cruise ships? What percentage of it
Hmm.
is parks? And what percentage is domestic versus international?
Let me whip up a spreadsheet. I'll get
Yeah,
back to you.
please. I would love to. I want a pie chart if you could do
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
as well. Do you worry that they're biting off more than they can chew?
Well, with the cruise ships, I do. I don't know about the parks. I think with the cruise ships, the problem is that the staffing, and so all the cruise ships are affected.
Yeah.
That is my problem because, like, when I went on the cruise in December, I was like, this is not like there's so many new people here
Hmm.
because they had to pull them off to go to the Destiny and now the Adventure to kind of close together. And so there's just so many new people.
Yeah.
And it is hard being a crew member on a cruise ship. There's so much going on. And if you're new, it's a lot to, grasp. So I feel like all the cruise ships are impacted when new cruise ships come on.
I agree with that. And I also think about the fact that they're just because it's fresh in my mind after rewatching the Disney documentaries that are on Disney Plus, that the last time we had this big push where things are happening and they're doing a lot of building and creating things, that eventually lots of people end up out of a job because that work isn't there anymore, and there were significant layoffs and stuff. And so I hope that, although I understand the need to increase staffing and staff up in order to get all this stuff done, that we also don't see at some point that same trend happening when then they're going to be overstaffed and have to lay off a bunch of Imagineers, because that is not that's not fun for anybody.
Mm-mm.
They also talked about things that I am not super familiar with, but he felt it important to mention, and that includes the Epic Games and Fortnite stuff that they're doing. Um, he said that creativity is always led by people, and that will always be the case. and that technology is an amplifier for Disney stories. They also talked about AI a lot, and that the desire to have AI empower creativity but never replace it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're not replacing animators with AI, hopefully, is what he's saying. I want to go back to the Fortnite thing. What if we started playing Fortnite? It
Okay,
seems fun.
it does seem fun, and the idea that Disney is building these worlds inside of
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite
Mm-hmm.
it is intriguing. I would be willing to try it.
I want to do the dances. I want to laugh. It seems fun to watch and funny.
Uh-huh.
Um, and maybe we should get into it.
Maybe so. Maybe
I'm
so.
never, I'm never gonna get into Lorcana. Like, shout out to the people that like Lorcana. That's not for us, I don't think.
Yeah, no. It's not. That to me seems more difficult than playing
Mhm.
Fortnite. And
Yeah,
having raised two boys who did lots of gaming, I bet one of them, if not both, would be willing to sit me down and give me a primer, a 15-minute Fortnite for dummies, if you will, to
but
get
it
me
would
started.
be funnier if they didn't. We're going live on Twitch amongst people who've been playing Fortnite for 8 years or however long it's been out, and we're just like, we're just learning.
Don't mind me. Is there a corner I can sit in and just watch?
This reminds me of me getting really into Hamilton 4 years after you liked it, and it was like all this new energy.
That's a lot of energy. Yes. Maybe let's put a pin in that. We can come back.
In our spare time, we'll learn to play.
We will learn to play Fortnite.
Hmm.
Um, do you think it's smart of them to go into Fortnite? And I don't think kids these days, oh my gosh, that was the most boomer thing I've ever said. World of Disney isn't as big of a deal. Of course, there's like the Disney Channel and Disney movies and Disney Junior and that. But do you think getting kids hooked on Disney stuff inside of a video game is a calculated play?
Oh, yeah, but they've always done that.
Mhm.
Like, that's what animated movies are. That's what, they sponsor, I don't know, brands of applesauce, like, stuff like
Yeah.
this, merchandise. They
D
have beach towels. Like, it's always everywhere.
yeah, Mickey Nuggets.
Hmm. Exactly. So they've always been doing that. And
Yeah.
Fortnite skews a little bit older, at least. Like, some of the stuff I just mentioned feels like toddlers.
Mhm.
So at least it's not toddlers.
Yeah, a little bit older kids. Are you worried about AI becoming too embedded inside of the Disney creativity, even though they're trying to tell us that it's not?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe it
I don't
because
either.
a lot of their ads and things seem pretty
Mhm.
obviously AI. So I feel like I don't believe it. It's so much cheaper. I don't know that it'll be as good quality, but it's so much cheaper. I can see them
Mhm.
being very tempted. When you have shareholders, you'll do anything to make them happy.
Yeah, and is it Ben Affleck who just started the company that's partnering with Netflix or whatever, where the idea is to utilize AI in a way that doesn't cut the artists out of it by making it easier to edit films versus it doing
Hmm.
the film editing. So I do hope it's something like that,
Hmm.
that it's something that it makes it easier for the people who are doing the work to do the work and not replace the people doing the work.
Hmm. That's what I hope too.
So fingers crossed on that. Then during this call, there was also a little, I don't want to say controversy, but DAS is something that's come up a lot, which is very it's a sensitive subject for lots of people and lots of families, especially ones who've been going for a long time because of the accessibility that DAS has provided for their family.
There is an organization called DAS Defenders, and they
Hmm.
email a lot to make sure that their message gets out there. So this is what they emailed 12 hours ago. They said, here's a helpful explainer in case you're covering the DAS shareholder vote. It says the accessibility proposal at Disney shareholder meeting got 5% support, which might sound small, but it actually represents tens of millions of shares voting in favor. At a company like Disney, most stock is owned by large institutions, and there's literally billions of total stock. So that level of support is meaningful and taken seriously. It also means the proposal can come back again next year. And notably, the CEO publicly addressed DAS for the first time at this meeting. So this issue has now moved from community concerns to shareholders up to the CEO level. And then they shared some explainer graphics and things like that as well. So
That's interesting. I didn't realize this was the first time that it was actually spoken about. I hope it's not just lip service and that they continue to have meaningful dialogue. He did not promise any changes. He did say that will continue to listen, learn, and apply expert guidance. Went into explaining that the new procedures put into place were put into place based upon discussions and research with people who are experts, at least for in Disney's eye, with this kind of stuff. All this stuff was overhauled in 2024, so we're looking at what, like 2 years now that we've been dealing with the new changes. And basically, what it did was fundamentally change how the entire program worked, and a lot of people who used to have access to DAS now no longer do. Um, the proposal that went through, though, it was rejected by 95% of shareholders. So it feels like that's an overwhelming number to combat. But maybe by having the discussions in public, it'll help build momentum.
Yeah, I mean, that's what that email seems to feel like. It's an uphill battle, but at least we're rolling. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, to them it felt like a positive thing. So there you go. It feels like it's just one of a few different overcorrections that Disney has made, and hopefully this is one that they will be able to settle in the middle, Goldilocks style.
Yeah, it's very much Goldilocks style. I feel like the only other big thing that they discussed, and I don't even want to say big, other than they did have some movies that they announced.
Lilo and Stitch 2, May
Yes.
26, 2028. 2 weeks later, Incredibles 3.
Figment.
He did say Figment. What's going on with Figment?
Well, not much. Not much. He said that he loves the adoration for Figment. Made zero announcements about a movie. I think I am not in the Figment fan base, but I think there has been a long-standing push for not only a refurbishment of the Figment attraction, but to do a Figment movie. In my mind, if Disney were to do a big major attraction refurbishment, they would probably want to capitalize on that elsewhere by doing something like a movie. But
Yeah, maybe we will get a more meet and greets, Heather.
that would be amazing. I hope so. Oh Lord.
Let's sit with it. Let's just sit with it.
And you know what? What's weird? No, I don't want to sit with it. Put it away. But the stuffed animals in the parks are cute. They don't have those weird tripped out eyes, and the tiny, like, the head feels more proportional. I don't know why those eyes and the head are so small on that thing.
It's just funny how these fictional characters take off
Yeah, I don't
in the parks.
don't like it. Don't like it. So yeah, that
One
was
little spark. Dun, 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 dun. No, I don't. It's purple, at least. You like
yes.
you like purple.
I do like purple. I can lean into the purple. I also find it interesting that the Figment topiary is made with succulents, and that to me also it makes it look like it's all warty, like it's all just because it's all bumpy and like hard. I feel like that's appropriate.
And that's enough. No. That's gross. No, but oh my gosh, people will line up for Figment.
Yes, they will.
I just think by talking about it, Josh Tomorrow, it's like, yeah, I get you. I know what you're into.
Yes, yeah. I think he knows he has to keep the diehard hardcore fan base happy, and if he trickles out some things, he's going to do that. I think he will definitely get people on board if he can not just keep Figment around, but resurrect him even to a higher status across all of Disney IP. He will have fans for life.
If they had announced the name of the ship Believe at D23 Expo, I think they would have brought out Cher to sing to announce it
De-
because that's what they do.
yes, I think they would have brought out a Cher impersonator
Okay, probably.
to announce it.
That'd be funny though.
Uh-huh. That would be funny.
I think they Google songs with the word believe in it. And then who can we get? Who's bookable?
Who is in our budget?
Mm.
Good news is they have a couple more ships coming online, and I imagine we will hear more about those at D23 and probably get a lot more information. So maybe there will be a name presented then that will tie in perfectly to an artist, or maybe they'll pick the name based upon who they could get.
Don't Stop Believin' by Journey.
Journey.
I'm a Believer by the Monkees. When You Believe from the Prince of Egypt.
Uh-huh.
Do You Believe in Magic? That modern hit.
Is that the Love and Spoonful?
Yes.
Oh, what do I get for knowing that?
A lot because I would have never guessed it. How I Believe in Music by Mac Davis. So they have options.
They do. I want to know what percentage of those ones the people are still alive.
Well, see, in the booking matrix, they have to figure out what can we afford, who's available.
Who's available, not by hologram.
Yes. Yes.
Although with AI now, maybe this is how they're going to use AI. They're going to make little avatars of all the people that they don't have to pay for anymore.
But I suddenly just got anxiety for the event planners for D23 Expo because they're like, make a decision. I have to book an act that coordinates. What is the name? What are we doing? Got to have something that makes sense here. And then I got to go find them.
And what kind of gig is that where you show up, you literally sing one song and then you're done? That seems
really tickled me.
Seems like a pretty easy way to probably make a nice chunk of change.
I think so. Mm-hmm. I'll start DMing the artists and ask.
Yes, what was your rate? Uh-huh.
I think when Disney is the person hiring you, you're like, let me quote the top of my range.
You know what I would ask for?
What?
Club 33 membership.
I think maybe they learned from Shonda Rhimes that they better give people things. Do you know that story?
No, tell me that story.
She worked for ABC and she asked for tickets for her family to get tickets to Disneyland. They said yes. When her family got there, they said no. And she packed up and went to Netflix. She said, if you can't give me tickets, you don't see my worth, I will be changing to Netflix.
Why would they not just give her tickets?
That was her point.
And you feel with all this synergy that they would have, this department is connected to this department enough to know that they need to have some sort of system in place already.
She was embarrassed.
Oh, sure. I'd be super embarrassed.
She said, I'm bringing in lots of money for you. You embarrassed me. I will take my work elsewhere.
Good for her. Good job, Shonda Rhimes.
So anyway, all right. Is that the list? Is that the end of the list?
I think that was about it. It's never super. It's all like set remarks, and then they do a few questions, I think. But
this is a fun one though for a shareholder meeting.
Yeah,
appreciate that aspect of it. We do have a few comments to get to. Courtney says, any guesses as to what early May could mean for Big Thunder Mountain? No, but they'll probably start doing previews and then there might be a soft opening. So I bet we'll know soon because it's only 6 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So we'll know more soon. Jessica says, important balance to pay enough to attract and retain talent, make major capital investments, maintain what you have, not outprice families, and return money to investors. Yes,
Ah,
it is indeed. Morning, appreciate you ladies so much going in August. What are the odds that there will be Lightning Lane or something for the train to meet Bluey in Animal Kingdom? We are park hopping and will only do half date Animal Kingdom. No, there won't be a Lightning Lane for the train. It is just transportation, basically.
mhm.
And they don't do Lightning Lanes for characters.
Yeah, which I'm still very curious as to why. I think we've all heard it's like staffing things, but it seems like that would be an easy way for people to feel like they're getting more value out of their lightning lanes.
100%, especially Animal Kingdom. But
Mhm.
when Nick and Judy started meeting at Animal Kingdom, they had a queue system where you would
Mhm.
walk up and they texted us, right?
Yes.
And for some reason, they aren't using that anymore, even though it's quite popular. So it's possible that they will use a queue system, although being all the way back at Conservation Station, I'm not sure how easy that is.
Yeah, unless they do it out at the train station. But it was just like if you go to a restaurant and they were like, "Okay, we'll text you when your table's ready." It was the same kind of system that they were using for Nick and Judy.
I think if it were me going to Animal Kingdom this summer, I would go on a ride during early entry, like I don't know, Navi River Journey or something like that. Go get in line for Kilimanjaro Safari, hit that right at the beginning, and then I would board the train to go out
Yeah.
there because it's. I don't think it's going to be busy like first hour because
Mm-mm.
people will be on rides and things. But I think if you do it while you're back doing the Kilimanjaro Safari, it might be good.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Do we know who will be taking over Damaro's previous role? I like that he was always visible in the parks and his leadership. I wonder if he will still do the parks panel this year at D23. They did say who the person was, and I cannot remember their name.
Me neither.
We need to learn more about them. Iger, I was trying to remember who did the announcements prior to Damaro. I mean, Chapek did, but he was
Yeah,
also in that role.
yeah, and I think Iger's role was more of like a I would say
MC.
master of ceremony kind of deal, but kind of the overall person. And then the Parks and Experience was, of course, handled by the person who's in charge of that. So I think we'll still see that. I think we'll still see tomorrow, but not doing the same stuff that what he was doing before. He's going to want to turn that over to the next person.
I mean, at one time we didn't know Damaro, so we had to be
Mhm.
introduced to him. So I imagine he will take the role of introducing us to some new people. Laura says, I'm not a gamer, but I absolutely got into Fortnite. I love completing the challenges on my kids' battle passes. Oh, ready up. Okay. I'm going to have to learn what battle passes are and ready up.
Okay.
Yeah. And Jessica says, ran the cruise lines and ABD and recently was president at Disneyland. Yeah, that's the new person. I just
It's
don't know them by name.
Thomas Maslam.
Okay. Should probably go find him on Instagram if I don't already follow him.
Yeah.
But we just don't know a lot because we've been in Josh Demarlian for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be different.
Yep. But overall, hopefully it'll be good because I think that Josh cares about perception.
Hmm. I do
So,
too. I do too. And I think he knows um, what happened when you don't keep your fan base in mind when you're making decisions. I think everybody has learned, hopefully, from the Chapek era. So, uh, my hope is then that that is reflected in the decisions we make over this, we see being made over the next decade or two.
yep. So that is that from yesterday. And we'll be back next week to talk about more topics Monday through Thursday. If any news happens between this moment and Monday morning, we will have
Hmm.
it on Monday. And we'll also have the week ahead and what to expect at Disney World. I think
Yeah.
that's it for now. We'll be back next week.